clear sign that what you're about to hear might be a true story is that the police were actually called after the incident. It happened just outside El Paso, Texas, in December of 2010. But more than just the facts, what I really want is for you to put yourself in this guy's shoes. Imagine it was you. What would you have done that night? He worked the graveyards at a self-service gas station. His shift started at midnight. He says he has seen a lot of strange things over the years. But this one takes the cake. It was, without a doubt, the most terrifying experience of his life. It was 1 a.m. and everything seemed normal. The store had gone about 45 minutes without a single customer, which wasn't unusual for a gas station at that hour. That's when he noticed an old woman approaching. He stepped out from behind the counter to open the door for her. The woman's skin was wrinkled, and there was something off about her. She wore a scarf, women's gloves, and one of those huge pairs of sunglasses that covered most of her face. Wearing sunglasses at night was strange enough, but what really got to him was the bad vibes. He felt it instantly. Something was wrong. The woman spoke, and her voice was deep, raspy, and sickly.
Would you mind stepping outside with me for a moment to take a look at my car? I think it's something wrong with it.
He politely declined, explaining that the store policy didn't allow him to leave the shop unattended for any reason, but she was welcome to use the phone if she needed help. She simply replied,
"Okay,"
and walked to the bedroom. She was in there for about 10 minutes. When she came out, she walked back to the counter.
"Here is no toilet paper. Could you go outside and get me some from the other restroom?"
At this point, he was seriously creeped out. Without hesitation, he went to the employee's restroom behind the office, grabbed a roll of toilet paper, and handed it to her from a safe distance. "Here you go, ma'am." She responded with a cold, dry,
"Thanks."
By now, her tone had shifted, more abrasive, clearly frustrated. She went back to the restroom and stayed in there for another 10 minutes. He kept an eye on the door the entire time. When she finally came out, she started wandering around the store, browsing, but clearly watching him, staring at him. 30 long, uncomfortable minutes went by with her, walking up and down the aisles. Then she left. But just 2 minutes later, she came back, and she said,
"The soda machine outside isn't working. Could you come out and help me? I put money, but it didn't give me the drink."
He said that if it had been anyone else, he would have gone without a second thought. But something inside him, a deep, instinctive fear, told him under no circumstances should he leave the store. Once again, he fell back on policy. "Sorry, ma'am. I can just step outside. It's the store rules." That clearly angered her. She tried 2 more times to get him to go outside. At one point, she even threatened to call the manager. He calmly offered the manager's phone number, but said he still wasn't leaving the counter. Eventually, she gave up and walked out of the store. But for the next 10 minutes, he could see her standing across the street on the sidewalk, just watching him. Then, finally, she was gone. The rest of the night passed without incident. Around 5 a.m., he even served a truck driver. At 8 a.m., when his shift ended, he walked out to his truck, which was parked about 20 meters away in the back lot. And that's when he saw it. Lying on the asphalt, just a feet from his vehicle, were a neatly folded scarf, a pair of women's gloves, and those same sunglasses. He recognized them instantly. A chill ran down his spine when he saw one more thing. A chunk of hair, or what he now realized was a wig, lying next to them. He stood there, frozen. Who was this woman? Why was she so desperate to get him outside? Now I ask you, what will you have done in his place? Guy or girl, will you have held your ground like he did? With your heart pounding in your chest, will you have given in and walked outside into the dark? Let me know in the comments. Melinda and Rachel were roommates and best friends. They lived together in a college room, went to classes, ate meals, laughed at the same stupid jokes, stayed up way too late talking about life. Melinda was the weird one. She likes candles, old books, and stories about death. Rachel was the grounded one, the logical, science-loving type. Still, they were close. Really close. One Friday night, they went out to a party. Everyone was having fun. Drinks, music, friends. Everything felt normal until Melissa froze. She looked pale. Her hands were shaking. "I don't feel right," she whispered. Rachel asked if she wanted some water, or to sit down or breathe. But Melinda said,
"I'm going back to the dorm. Don't worry."
And she left. 2 hours passed. Then 3. Rachel came back to the dorm around 3 a.m. The hallway was dead quiet. She walked to their room, slid the key in, turned it, and stepped inside. Then she froze. The room was covered in blood. The floor, the walls, the bed, even the mirror, blood everywhere. But that wasn't the worst part. On the window, a giant handprint pressed into the glass, dark, oily, and far big to be human. The fingers were at least 8 inches long. Rachel screamed. Police arrived quickly. They researched everything, but Melinda was gone. No sign of a break-in, no broken glass, no fingerprints, except for one. That giant hand. They tested it, ran it through every database, and found nothing. Whoever left it was not in any system. Rachel was questioned again and again. At first, she stayed quiet. Then, one night, she broke down crying. She told them everything.
Melinda used to play with a Ouija board. She said she was talking to someone. She said there was a presence in her dreams, watching her. Sometimes she will wake up crying, saying, "He touched me."
Rachel never believed it. She thought it was stress or just her imagination. Then the police found a notebook. Melinda had hidden it in their room. It was full of strange drawings, symbols, and pages of writing that didn't make any sense. But the last entry was clear. "He spoke to me tonight. He asked me to come in. I said yes." They never found Melinda's body, just her blood and that giant handprint. Rachel left the university. She moved far away, changed her number, started fresh, but sometimes she still sees things in the mirrors or hears whispers when she's alone. And once she woke up and she found a handprint, big, dark, just like the one in the dorm. Melinda opened something, a door that should have stayed shut. And now, whatever came through that door might not be done. Are you sure your windows are locked at night? Because someone or something might be leaving a mark just for you. And tell me in the comments, what would you do if you saw a giant handprint on your window room at 3 a.m.? The person who told me this story did so out of fear, and the clearest proof of that fear is this: he doesn't want his name to be mentioned. He doesn't want any publicity. He wanted everything kept under solid anonymity. This happened in a small town outside Gainesville, Georgia, deep in the woods to the south of town. It was around 1 a.m. 4 teenage friends were walking through the woods, following a barely visible trail carved out by years of foot traffic. They were each carrying backpacks on their way to night fishing at the creek. Every angler knows that night is the best time for it. It's quieter, calmer. They walked, smoked a little, joked around, talk about girls. They laugh. They left footprints. Then one of them noticed something strange just off the trail. Lying near the edge of the path was a small pink box, dirty, stretched out, and clearly placed there, like someone wanted it to be found.
"What the hell is that?"
One of the guys said. He slowly approached it, listening to the crunch of gravel beneath his shoes. He kneeled down and picked it up. To his surprise, it was a doll box. The front had a transparent plastic window, and inside was a doll. Its head tilted sideways, staring right back at him. The doll was filthy, burnt in places. The whole thing gave off a morbid, unsettling vibe. They laughed nervously, tried to shake it off, and opened the box. But what hit them next wasn't visual. It was the smell. Rotten, sour, awful. One of them nearly vomited.
"Nope,
One of them said.
we're getting rid of this."
They tossed the box deep into the boots and they moved on. 20 minutes later, they reached the creek. They set up their gear, cast their lines side by side. They were just starting to settle back into conversation when one of the guys asked the others to hold his rod. He had to take a leak. He walked off a few yards, turned his back, and unzipped. Then, midstream, it stopped. Seconds later, the boys heard a loud moan. Then, a shaky voice calling out from the dark.
Guys, please, come here.
They ran to him. He was shaking. 2 feet in front of where he had been standing was the same doll box. One of the guys picked it up, trying to come up with a logical explanation.
Okay, maybe a truck overturned nearby. Maybe some shipment of toys got dumped into the boots.
But it was the same box. Same half-burnt dress. Same melted face. Same lifeless eyes. One of them, already panicking, hurled the box into the creek with all his strength. It floated. It didn't sink. They tried to laugh it off, but none of them could stop staring at it. The box just floated there, daubing with the water's ripples. Then they realized the worst part. It was drifting towards them, steadily, silently, coming closer to the bank where they were sitting. They cursed. They shouted.
What the hell is going on?
They panicked, packed up their gear, took down the rods, grabbed their stuff. One of them said,
"Screw this! We're never night fishing again."
They started the long hike back to town. But they hadn't even been walking 10 minutes when they stopped dead in their tracks. On the path ahead of them, there it was again. The same doll box. Right there, in the middle of the trail, just sitting, waiting. They saw it. It saw them. They screamed and ran. One of them even dropped his backpack, didn't bother going back for it. They ran and ran until they finally saw the distant glow of the streetlights of Gainesville. The guy who told me swears this is true. And he told me not a single day has gone by since that night without being terrified he might see that doll again. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and leave me a comment. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I upload a new horror story every week. This was Mr. Scream speaking, and I wish you good night.